Bonsoir à tous. Ce petit message d'abord pour féliciter nos Bleus et
Ukraine is resisting much better than expected. It is resisting with courage. And so we decided, at the G7 level, to support Ukraine more strongly. First, so that it can defend itself against missile strikes and drone attacks. Next, so that it can have the capabilities to strike deep and thus defend itself.
Macron risks provoking fresh fury from Putin as he backs stronger Ukrainian strike capability against Russian targets. The G7 is signaling more support for Ukraine's defense, fueling claims that NATO is edging closer to a sharper confrontation with Russia. Macron is stepping up his anti-Russia rhetoric, even as Moscow continues to flaunt advanced strategic missile threats.
bonsoir à tous. Ce petit message d'abord pour féliciter nos Bleus et
Good evening, everyone. First, this short message to congratulate our Blues and the 3-1 victory against Senegal with 2 goals from Kylian Mbappe, and then the goal from Bradley Barcola. So congratulations to our Blues. It is a good start to the World Cup tournament, and I hope to be there. I know I will be there on July 19th for the final. But celebrating our Blues is one thing. I also wanted to report to you on this G7 and what we are building. There are many texts being released, agreed upon, being finalized on very important topics like the fight against the Ebola virus, the joint fight against cancer, greater solidarity, a common organization on critical minerals and rare earths. But I wanted to emphasize 2 things. First, we all supported the agreement that was reached between the United States of America and Iran. This agreement is a good thing. President Trump is with us. He is here during these 2 days. He will be with us tomorrow. He will also be with us tomorrow, in a more bilateral setting, to celebrate the 250th anniversary of independence. But this agreement will help restore stability to the region, to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, to enable peace in Lebanon and the work of the Lebanese armed forces, of the international forces supporting them to regain a monopoly on weapons. And this agreement will also make it possible to reduce tension, to lower the prices of oil, gas, and fertilizers. And so we supported this agreement during this G7, but also decided on several very concrete things to ensure its implementation and to reduce our dependencies on the Strait of Hormuz. The other major agreement of this G7 is the support for Ukraine. We all recognized that today's situation has nothing to do with that of 6 months ago. Ukraine is resisting much better than expected. It is resisting with courage. After such a difficult winter, after attacks against civilian populations, and in recent days against places of worship. And so we decided, at the G7 level, to support Ukraine more strongly. First, so that it can defend itself against missile strikes and drone attacks. Next, so that it can have the capabilities to strike deep and thus defend itself, including when it is attacked from further away, and so that it can protect its energy in Kyiv and elsewhere. Therefore, regarding these energy infrastructures, we also decided, all together, in the unity of this G7, to increase pressure on Russia, and in particular on the issue of oil and gas resources that Russia uses to finance its war effort. And so this G7 is a moment, I believe I can say, of strategic awakening where all of us together, the United States, Japan, Canada, Europeans, decided to act in concert alongside Ukraine to defend our unity, the values we believe in, and the current situation. That is what I wanted to tell you this evening. But the day that has just passed was important enough for me to take these few moments to celebrate our Blues, to tell you the importance of our discussions on the Strait of Hormuz, Lebanon, and peace in the Near and Middle East, and to speak to you about Ukraine. Tomorrow I will report to you at greater length on the conclusion of our debates. Thank you very much.
One Russian Sarmat intercontinental ballistic missile could destroy an entire nation, Russian military analyst Igor Korochenko said in his latest assessment. He claimed that a single Sarmat, armed with more than 10 individually guided nuclear warheads, could theoretically wipe out countries such as France or the United Kingdom. The analyst warned that the missile could be used if Russia judged that its national security or strategic stability was seriously threatened. Korochenko added that the Sarmat can strike targets via both the North and South Poles, complicating early warning and missile defense planning. His remarks were made as he spoke to Russian state media outlet Sputnik, which published his comments on the missile's capabilities. Notably, the Sarmat is designed as a heavy intercontinental ballistic missile specifically for Russia's strategic nuclear forces. Putin said that Russia has greatly modernized its nuclear deterrent since the early 2000s, citing new systems introduced over the past 2 decades. He also described the Sarmat as the most powerful missile system currently in the world, highlighting its payload and range. The Russian president claimed that the missile's total warhead power exceeds comparable Western strategic systems by around 4 times.
Work on improving deterrent forces resumed in Russia and has not stopped since the early 2000s. Back then we had no time for this. To put it bluntly, Russia was going through a very difficult period in its history. But after the United States withdrew from the Anti-Ballistic Missile Treaty in 2002, we were forced to, I want to emphasize this, we were forced to think about ensuring our strategic security in the new reality and the need to maintain a strategic balance of forces, parity. That is precisely why, I would like to emphasize this once again, Russia has begun work on the development of advanced systems that have no equivalent anywhere in the world and are guaranteed to overcome both existing and future missile defense systems. We are systematically implementing the Nuclear Forces Development Program established in response to this. In 2004, we began work on the intercontinental Avangard missile system. Since 2019, it has been on combat duty. Then we developed the medium-range air-launched Kinshal hypersonic missile, which has been on duty since 2017. It is already being used during the special military operation, but work on its improvement continues, including on accuracy in non-nuclear equipment. Since 2025, the medium-range ground-based Oreshnik missile system has been on combat duty, which can also be equipped with nuclear warheads. We are finishing work on 2 systems with small nuclear propulsion systems, the unique unmanned underwater Poseidon vehicle and the unique global-range Buvesnik cruise missile. Now let's speak about Sarmat intercontinental ballistic missile. We started working on it in 2011. In 2018, these works and the advantages of new prospective missile systems, including Sarmat, were publicly announced. Let me remind you what was discussed then and the advantages of our newest system. Firstly, it is the most powerful missile system in the world, not inferior in power to the Soviet-developed Voyvoda missile system in service with us. The total power of the warhead is more than 4 times the power of any most powerful existing Western counterpart. Secondly, and this is most crucial, the missile can travel not only along a ballistic, but also a suborbital trajectory, which allows it to exceed its range of over 35,000 kilometers, with simultaneously doubled accuracy characteristics and with the capability to overcome all existing and future missile defense systems. By the end of this year, Sarmat will be put on combat duty. Congratulations to the Defense Ministry, all participants, researchers, engineers, defense industrial complex production organizers, prime contractors on this major event and infallible success. Thank you for your work in strengthening Russia's defense capabilities. Good afternoon, Sergei Viktorovich. Can you hear me?
Good afternoon, Supreme Commander-in-Chief.
Please, go ahead, Sergei Viktorovich.
Comrade Supreme Commander-in-Chief, today at 11:15, the Strategic Rocket Forces conducted a test launch of the latest heavy liquid-fueled intercontinental ballistic missile Sarmat. The launch was successful and achieved all objectives. The test results confirmed that the design and technological solutions adopted were accurate and that the missile system meets the specified performance criteria. The ground-based strategic missile system with an intercontinental ballistic missile Sarmat is being developed to replace the Soviet-made Voyvoda system. The Sarmat surpasses its predecessor in combat capabilities, especially in its flight range, payload capacity, operational readiness, and anti-missile defense capabilities, which ensure it can reliably evade existing and prospective anti-missile defense systems. The system is being developed by the joint stock company Kyiv Rocket Design Bureau in collaboration with the industrial sector. The successful test launch of the Sarmat missile system enables us to deploy the first missile regiment equipped with this system to combat duty in the Uzhersky military unit, Krasnoyarsk region, by the end of this year. The deployment of launchers equipped with the Sarmat missile system will significantly enhance the combat capabilities of the ground-based strategic nuclear forces in delivering guaranteed strikes against targets and fulfilling strategic deterrence tasks. The task set for this launch has been completed. We will now proceed with the tasks related to putting it on combat duty. Report finished.
Congratulations, Sergei Viktorovich. I wish you every success.